Hello everyone, this is Bill Tivening coming to you from nickborg.com. We're going to be talking about the 135th running of the Kentucky Derby this morning. Joining me this morning is
Nick Borg.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
All right, Bill. How are you?
Good. Get the big race coming up this week.
Yeah. Interestingly, we had another drop-off from the race.
Yeah.
Flats Quality Road.
Square Eddie dropping out this morning, Tuesday morning. Came back from some work with that injury kind of flared up on him again.
Yeah.
So, well, okay. So we'll be moving on now. Nick, quick question: who do you think is going to be getting off to a quick start in this race?
It's hard to tell, especially having the 20-horse field. I think the horses from Dubai might be very close to the early pace.
Yeah, that Regal Ransom may be getting out in front.
He might. Desert Party had some speed before he started training in Dubai, so they do have some natural speed, and it'll make it interesting. There aren't really any strong early speed burners in here right now, and we're talking before the draw. We're talking on Tuesday, so they haven't put the whole field together yet. So there might be one or two additions where they do have speed.
Okay, well, what other horses do you think are going to be close to the lead in the first?
Well, oddly, I Want Revenge is the type of horse that can sit anywhere. He can sit close to pace. He can sit back in mid-pack. He can come from well off the pace, that we saw last time out. The same with Pioneer of the Nile. Pioneer of the Nile ran some races where he made the pace. And supposedly he's a better finisher than pace horse. So it'll be interesting to see how close he sits.
Yeah, and we've got a number of closers in here, but...
And Papa Clem is another horse that has natural early speed, and it seemed the last time out in the Arkansas Derby, he was taken off the pace and he ran his best race. He had his strongest finish. He was running fifth early, as opposed to the race before where he had the lead by a length and a half in the LA Derby, Louisiana Derby. And he faded in those races. But in the Ark, he finished very strong.
Yeah, I liked him in that race, actually. That was a nice race by Papa Clem.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of horses here that are going to be finishing up strong. Do you have any ideas about who you like there, who's going to be coming late?
Well, Hold Me Back is one of the best finishers in the race. His race 2 back in the Lane's End was one of the best 3-year-old preps this year, I believe. And last time out in the Bluegrass, he finished very well. Not as well as he did in the Lane's End, but he finished very well. And those are two good races to build on, especially over synthetic surface. A lot of people are saying, like the old standard, you should have 3 preps going into the Derby. But I feel that if you have 2 preps, and especially if 1 or even 2 are over the synthetic surface, you do pick up as much conditioning in bottom as you would if you had a 3rd race.
Right.
So I don't see Hold Me Back as getting held back by not having that 3rd race going to the Derby.
He seems to be training fairly well down there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been looking good, according to the reports.
And his trainer, Bill Mott, I think is an incredible trainer. I mean, he doesn't have a reputation for handling 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds going to the Derby, but I think he's as good as anybody.
Yeah, and he'll be a good, healthy price for Saturday.
Should be.
Upwards of 15 or so, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, maybe a little less. Maybe a little less.
So there are some long-priced horses in here we could talk about if you'd like.
One horse that has me scratching my head is Westside Bernie.
Yeah.
Last year as a 2-year-old, he ran against the cream of the crop. And like in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he lost by 3 lengths. And he had a trouble trip, but losing by 3 lengths to the best horses isn't very bad at all. And coming to this year, in the Holy Bull and the Lane's End, he didn't run very well. Why? I'm not sure. He just didn't pick up that natural progression a 3-year-old would pick up early on. And I think his connections threw him in the Wood Memorial with a 2-week gap between the Lane's End and the Wood, thinking this is the horse's last chance. If he's going to show anything before we decide if he's not going to the Derby, he'll have to do in the Wood. And he showed a lot. He showed a lot in the Wood. He was actually side by side with I Want Revenge on the turn.
Right.
He's actually a little bit in front of I Want Revenge on the turn, but I Want Revenge was in top gear at that time, and he just blew by him. But eventually, Westside Bernie finished second in a really well-run effort, which is probably the best race he's ever run.
Yeah.
Now, it's questionable if he improves off that or if he levels off. But I think he's got a good chance to improve off that race.
He's going to like the distance, won't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to love the distance. Coming out of Stormcat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really disappointed me in the Lane's End, but he picked it up in the Wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. That's a nice long shot pick. Anybody else here you think is going to be at a price, maybe to finish out the Tri or the Super?
I think Win Willie had the chance to hit the board at a price. He's got a nice closing kick. Also,
he's the classic horse, maybe with the bounce off of his, coming out of that big race against Old Fashioned, and then bouncing in his next at the Arkansas Derby. He may be the classic coming back.
He might be, yeah. And also, I think Chocolate Candy has a big chance to hit the board at a price.
Chocolate Candy, that's right. That's he's sort of that California invader that. A lot of these other California horses are Pioneer in the Nile's getting a lot of attention, and Chocolate Candy.
Chocolate Candy's a nice horse. He finishes pretty well on the synthetic surfaces, and he had a gap between February and April going into the Santa Anita Derby. So I don't think he was fully cranked going into the Santa Anita Derby, and he did rally to finish second to Pioneer of the Nile, just beating a length. And it looked like at the end he was getting to him. He was getting close to Pioneer. So Chocolate Candy should improve off that effort.
Yeah, I always thought that was funny, Chocolate Candy, and he's owned by Jenny Craig, the weight loss maiden. So maybe it's sugar-free Chocolate Candy this time around. And any feelings on Mr. Hot Stuff?
Mr. Hot Stuff has a chance, definitely, to fit in the exacta or at least hit the board at a big price. He's got a lot of heart. He finishes strongly. And he's had trouble in his last couple of races, and the running line doesn't show it. But he's had a wide trip, and he had a split foals last time out where his move got delayed.
Right. Yeah.
So even though he was finished third by 2 lengths. It was a strong effort.
Yeah,
Derby.
I know it was a strong effort, and he was. He has that breeding to finish up this mile and quarter also.
Yeah, he does.